Chapter 1. The illusion of instant motivation. It's a word that is used to inspire, to drive, and to create the illusion of progress. For many, it's the elusive spark that seems to ignite action. We've all heard the stories, seen the success stories that seem to shine with the light of pure determination. It feels like if we could only find that same fire, that motivation would be enough to push us toward success. But there's a darker truth hidden beneath the surface of motivation. Something nobody tells you. Motivation, as most people believe it to be, is a fleeting force. It is not a constant, nor is it a sustainable source of energy that can drive us to accomplish our deepest goals. In fact, relying on motivation is one of the biggest traps we can fall into. We live in a world that glorifies motivation. Think of all the Instagram quotes, the YouTube videos, and the self-help books that promise us the secret formula to getting motivated. We've been taught to believe that motivation is a prerequisite for action, that it's the magic ingredient we need to get things done. But this misconception only leads us down a path of frustration, confusion, and ultimately, inaction. Why? Because motivation is not something you can simply summon at will. It doesn't always show up when you need it the most. It can be strong one day and absent the next. And the worst part? When we rely on motivation, we find ourselves stuck, unable to make progress unless that feeling of motivation magically appears. Think about the last time you decided to start something. Maybe it was a fitness routine, a project at work, or even a personal goal. You were probably full of energy, full of ideas. That burst of motivation was there. It fueled your actions. But then, over time, that initial excitement faded. You started skipping workouts. You procrastinated on your project. That initial momentum began to slip away, and the excitement you once felt turned into guilt, frustration, and self-doubt. So, where does that leave us? Are we doomed to rely on something as unreliable as motivation to achieve our goals? The truth is, we are missing the foundation that truly drives success: discipline. In part one of this journey, we need to understand that motivation is a fleeting feeling, not the consistent force we've been led to believe it is. It's easy to get caught up in the hype of a motivational speech, a quote on Instagram, or a burst of energy on a Monday morning. But the real lasting progress comes from something much more consistent: discipline. Discipline is the quiet, unglamorous work that gets done even when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's the commitment to showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it. It's the small, seemingly insignificant actions you take when motivation is nowhere to be seen. Discipline doesn't need the spark of motivation. It works without the external push because it's built on the habit of doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel in the moment. And here lies the paradox that nobody talks about. When you rely on motivation to get things done, you are ultimately building a habit of inconsistency. Motivation can't be counted on. It's like waiting for a wave to carry you forward, but it's never there when you need it. But when you build a foundation on discipline, you create consistency. Discipline turns small actions into powerful results over time. It's the difference between a one-time burst of effort and a steady, unbroken flow of progress. Discipline is what sustains you during the times when motivation is absent. It's the invisible force that pushes you forward, step by step, even when you feel exhausted, distracted, or uninspired. Discipline doesn't care about your feelings or the motivation you may or may not have on any given day. It simply gets the job done. So, in this part of the journey, we must shift our mindset. We must stop chasing the highs of motivation and instead start building the quiet, powerful force of discipline. The sooner we realize that motivation is not the answer to our problems, the sooner we can begin to create the life we desire, not through temporary bursts of energy, but through steady, consistent action. Let's begin to unravel the idea of motivation and replace it with something much more lasting. In the next section, we will dive deeper into how discipline can be developed and the key psychological principles that make it so much more reliable than motivation. Part 2. Chapter 1. The power of discipline over motivation. Now that we've established that motivation is unreliable and fleeting, let's turn our attention to something much more powerful and dependable: discipline. Discipline is the unsung hero behind every successful person, every accomplished goal, and every long-term achievement. It is the quiet engine that runs in the background, driving us forward even when motivation is nowhere to be found. A discipline is not a magical quality that some people are born with, nor is it something that only the highly successful possess. It is a skill that can be cultivated by anyone, regardless of background, circumstances, or personality. But how do we go about developing discipline? First, we need to understand that discipline is about creating habits. It's about finding the things that you know you must do and committing to doing them every day, even when it's hard. It's not about making grand, sweeping decisions to change your life all at once. Rather, it's about taking small, consistent steps that add up over time. Take a moment to think about your daily routine. What are the habits you've already developed? Maybe you've got the habit of checking your phone first thing in the morning. Or maybe you've developed the habit of skipping breakfast. Those habits were formed over time, with repeated actions. But what if you could change your habits? What if you could build a routine that set you up for success rather than sabotaging it? The key to discipline lies in consistency. Consistency is what makes discipline so powerful. It's not the one-time effort that matters. It's the repeated, consistent effort over time that creates results. The more you show up, the more you build a foundation that becomes second nature to you. Imagine that you want to start exercising regularly. You could rely on motivation to get you to the gym, but as we know, that's a hit or miss strategy. What's much more effective is making exercise a part of your daily routine. Whether you feel like it or not, you commit to it. You don't wait for motivation to strike. Instead, you simply show up, no matter how you feel. Over time, exercise becomes a habit. It becomes ingrained in your daily life, something you do without thinking, just like brushing your teeth. The beauty of discipline is that it doesn't require motivation. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment to get started. You don't need to be in the mood. Discipline simply says, "This is what I do, and I will continue to do it no matter what." And that's the secret to long-term success. It's the consistency of showing up, even when it's inconvenient, even when it feels like it's too hard, and even when motivation is nowhere in sight. Let's talk about the psychology behind this. When we rely on motivation, we're essentially putting our power in something external. We're hoping that something outside of ourselves will give us the push we need to take action. But motivation is fickle. It comes and goes. On the other hand, discipline is internal. It is based on your commitment to yourself, not on how you feel at any given moment. When you rely on discipline, you are not dependent on external factors to get things done. You are self-sufficient, able to create the results you want without waiting for motivation to strike. Another critical element of discipline is the ability to delay gratification. In our fast-paced, instant gratification culture, we have become accustomed to immediate rewards. But true discipline involves pushing through the discomfort of waiting. It's the ability to keep working toward your goal, even when the rewards are not immediate or obvious. Yeah, and this concept of delayed gratification is crucial to developing lasting discipline. When you focus on the long-term benefits rather than the immediate rewards, you begin to strengthen your discipline muscle. The more you practice delaying gratification, the more natural it becomes. It's like building any other muscle in your body. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. But how do we stay committed to discipline when the temptation to quit is strong? The answer lies in developing a deeper sense of purpose. When you have a clear understanding of why you're doing something, the discomfort of discipline becomes easier to bear. Purpose is the anchor that keeps you grounded when everything else feels uncertain. It's what keeps you moving forward when motivation has left the building. Think about the last time you truly committed to something. Maybe it was a personal goal, a relationship, or a work project. The reason you stuck with it, even when it got tough, is because you had a deep sense of purpose. You knew that what you were doing mattered, and that knowledge made it easier to persevere. When we build discipline into our lives, we're not just creating a new habit, we're also strengthening our connection to our purpose. Discipline helps us stay true to our long-term goals, even when it's tempting to give in to short-term distractions. It keeps us aligned with our values and our vision for the future. The process of building discipline is not glamorous, and it's not always easy, but it is one of the most rewarding things you can do for yourself. By embracing discipline, you are choosing long-term growth over short-term satisfaction. You're creating a life built on consistency, commitment, and perseverance. As we move forward, we will explore how to further strengthen discipline by addressing the internal battles we face, such as self-doubt, distractions, and the desire to quit. But for now, take a moment to reflect on the power of discipline in your own life. Are there areas where you have been relying too heavily on motivation? Where can you begin to build more consistency and discipline? The answers to these questions will lay the foundation for the transformation that's coming. Chapter 2. The Myth of Instant Results. We live in a world obsessed with speed. We've grown accustomed to getting what we want instantly, whether it's a meal delivered to our door in minutes, or information just a click away on our smartphones. This instant gratification has bled into every aspect of our lives, including how we perceive success. We've been conditioned to believe that results should come quickly, easily, and without much effort. The faster, the better. But this mindset is not only unrealistic, it's also destructive. It creates a false sense of expectation, one that leads to disappointment and frustration when things don't go as quickly as we want them to. When we look at the success stories of others, we see the highlight reel, the final product. We see the end result, the polished version of a journey that took years of hard work, failure, and sacrifice. What we don't see is the time it took to get there, the hours of unnoticed work, the struggles behind the scenes, the sacrifices that were made. The real story is always far more complex than what's portrayed on the surface. The myth of instant results is one of the most dangerous lies in today's world. We are constantly chasing after the idea that success should come easily, without the need for patience or perseverance. But true success, lasting success, is built over time. It doesn't come overnight, and it's rarely as easy as we want it to be. Think about the times when you've set a big goal for yourself, whether it was losing weight, building a business, or mastering a skill. In the beginning, everything feels possible. The excitement is there. You've got your plan, your motivation, and your vision for what's to come. But as time goes on, the initial enthusiasm begins to fade. You hit obstacles, you face setbacks. Progress feels slow, and the results you're working toward don't come as quickly as you thought they would, and that's when frustration sets in. We've all experienced it, the feeling of working hard but not seeing the results fast enough. And when that happens, it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to start doubting yourself, your abilities, and your goals. You wonder if it's worth it. You question if you're doing it right. You wonder why others seem to achieve their goals so much faster than you. The reality, however, is that the results you're hoping for are not immediate. Building something meaningful takes time. Success isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And in order to stay the course, we must understand that there will be times when we don't see immediate results. In fact, it's often the slow, steady progress that leads to the most lasting success. Now, the truth is, we cannot control the speed at which results come, but we can control how we show up every day. We can control how consistently we put in the work, no matter how small the progress may seem. We can control our commitment to the process, even when the results aren't visible yet. One of the most powerful things we can do for ourselves is to embrace the journey, not just the destination. If we focus only on the end result, we miss out on the valuable lessons and growth that come from the struggle. The process of working toward a goal teaches us more than the goal itself. It builds resilience, it shapes our character, it teaches us patience and persistence. Success is not a straight line. It's a series of ups and downs, with moments of progress and moments of setbacks. But each step, each day of showing up, brings you closer to where you want to be. The real key is not to give up when things don't go as planned, but to trust in the process and stay committed to the work. This shift in mindset is critical. When we let go of the expectation that results should come quickly, we free ourselves from the pressure of instant gratification. We allow ourselves the space to grow, to fail, and to learn. We understand that the path to success is not linear, and that slow and steady progress is often the most reliable route. In this part of the journey, we must begin to embrace the idea that results take time. The small actions you take every day, no matter how insignificant they may seem, what will ultimately lead to the bigger changes. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of instant success, but real, lasting success is built on the foundation of consistent effort over time. When we remove the pressure of instant results, we open ourselves up to the process. We allow ourselves to enjoy the small victories, the moments of progress, and the lessons learned along the way. This is where true growth happens. This is where success is built. Part 2. Chapter 2. The Myth of Instant Results. Continued. As we continue on this journey of self-discovery and growth, one of the most crucial elements to understand is the role of patience. In today's world, patience is a rare virtue. We live in a fast-paced society that values quick fixes, immediate rewards, and instant gratification. Yet, true and lasting success demands the exact opposite. It requires patience. It requires the ability to delay the reward, to embrace the discomfort of waiting, and to stay committed even when the results aren't visible right away. Let's break this down. Imagine you're planting a tree. You carefully choose the seed, plant it in the soil, and water it daily. For days, weeks, or even months, you see no visible change. The soil looks the same. The seed appears dormant. But beneath the surface, something is happening. The roots are growing. The seed is slowly but steadily transforming into a young sapling. Over time, as you continue to nurture it, that sapling will grow taller, stronger, and more robust. This is the essence of success. It's like planting that seed. You may not see the immediate growth, but the foundation is being built. Each small action, every moment of patience, is contributing to the bigger picture. The moment you stop watering that tree, stop nurturing it with consistency and patience, is the moment it stops growing. Similarly, when you give up on your goals simply because you can't see the results right away, you cut off your chances for long-term success. Patience isn't about sitting idly by and waiting for things to happen. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and trusting that the results will come when the time is right. It's understanding that while the process may be slow, every step forward is progress, and that slow, steady progress is far more valuable than instant, fleeting results. There's a psychological element to this as well. The act of waiting, of delaying gratification, activates the part of the brain that is responsible for self-control. The more you practice patience, the stronger your ability to resist the temptation of instant rewards. You build mental muscle. The more you exercise this muscle, the easier it becomes to stay focused on the long-term goal instead of being distracted by the allure of instant gratification. This doesn't mean that you should expect to fail or be discouraged by the lack of immediate results. On the contrary, it means that you need to reframe how you view setbacks and delays. Instead of seeing them as failures, see them as part of the process. Understand that no journey to success is linear. There will be moments of frustration, moments of doubt, and moments when it feels like you're not making progress. But these moments are part of your growth. They are shaping you into the person who will be capable of achieving your goals. Embrace the discomfort of the journey. Learn to be present with it, knowing that every challenge you face is a stepping stone to your ultimate success. In those moments when you feel like giving up, remind yourself that true success is not about rushing to the finish line. It's about developing the character, skills, and mindset necessary to sustain that success in the long term. In fact, the very act of enduring through these challenges and delays is what builds resilience. Resilience is what keeps you going when the motivation has faded, when the excitement has worn off, and when the results are still nowhere to be seen. Resilience is what transforms you from someone who wants instant results into someone who can weather the storms of slow progress and keep moving forward. The key to developing resilience lies in mindset. It's about shifting from the expectation of instant gratification to the understanding that true achievement comes from consistent effort. It's about accepting that progress isn't always visible and that the work you're putting in now is laying the foundation for your future success, even if you can't see it yet. So, how do you stay patient and resilient when it feels like you're not getting anywhere? First, you need to set realistic expectations for yourself. Understand that results take time, and remind yourself that every small step is a victory. Each day that you continue to show up and do the work is a day closer to your goal, even if you can't see the results yet. Next, focus on the process, not the end result. When you make the journey itself the focus of your attention, you free yourself from the constant need for external validation or immediate rewards. You begin to find joy in the work, in the consistency, and in the small wins along the way. This shift in focus can make all the difference in how you approach your goals and how you experience the journey. Remember, patience doesn't mean passivity. It means actively engaging in the process, doing the work, and trusting that the results will come when they're meant to. It's about developing the discipline to keep going, even when you can't see the finish line. It's about learning to love the journey rather than just the destination. In the next chapter, we'll delve deeper into the concept of resilience and how it plays a crucial role in achieving long-term success. We'll explore how to build mental toughness, overcome setbacks, and develop the inner strength needed to stay committed to your goals no matter how long it takes. Chapter 3. The role of resilience in achieving long-term success. Resilience. It's a word that often gets thrown around in motivational talks and self-help books. But what does it really mean? In the context of personal growth and achieving long-term success, resilience is not just about bouncing back from setbacks. It's about how you respond to the inevitable obstacles that life throws at you. It's the inner strength that allows you to stay the course when the going gets tough, to keep moving forward even when the odds are stacked against you, and to maintain your focus on the end goal, despite the challenges that arise along the way. Success is rarely a smooth ride. It's not about one big, dramatic victory. It's about a series of small wins, each one requiring perseverance, patience, and above all, resilience. The path to your goals will be filled with obstacles. There will be failures, disappointments, and moments of doubt. But how you respond to these moments is what will ultimately determine your success. Resilience is not a trait that you are born with, but rather it's something that you can develop over time. It's the ability to adapt to adversity, to rise after a fall, and to keep going even when you don't feel like it. It's not about being immune to difficulty. It's about learning how to navigate it, how to move through it, without being crushed by it. Think about some of the most successful people you know or admire. They didn't get where they are by avoiding failure. They didn't get there by never experiencing setbacks. They got there because they refused to quit. They got there because they found the strength to push through the hardest moments, to keep learning from their mistakes, and to keep moving forward, even when the path seemed unclear. The reality is that setbacks are a natural part of success. They're not something to be feared, but something to be expected. Every time you face a setback, you're being given the opportunity to build resilience. It's in those moments of difficulty that you learn the most about yourself. You discover what you're really made of, what your limits are, and how far you're willing to push beyond those limits. Resilience isn't about denying the pain or pretending that things aren't tough. It's about acknowledging the challenges you face, but not letting them define you. It's about accepting that failure is not the opposite of success, but rather, it's a necessary part of the process. You cannot grow without facing challenges. You cannot reach your goals without experiencing some form of struggle along the way. What makes resilience so powerful is its ability to transform setbacks into fuel for growth. When you face a setback, you have two choices. You can either let it defeat you, or you can use it as an opportunity to learn and grow stronger. The key is in your response. When you choose to view challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles, you shift your mindset from one of victimhood to one of empowerment. You take control of your circumstances instead of letting them control you. Think about a time when you faced a challenge. Maybe it was a personal failure, a difficult situation at work, or a period of emotional hardship. How did you respond? Did you give up? Or did you dig deep, find your strength, and keep moving forward? The truth is, we all have setbacks. We all experience moments when it feels like things aren't going the way we want them to. But it's not the setback itself that defines us, it's how we respond to it. The most successful people are not those who never fail, but those who are able to pick themselves up after each failure, learn from it, and continue on their journey. In this part of the journey, we need to understand that resilience is not just about pushing through adversity, it's also about knowing when to take a step back and regroup. Resilience is about balance. It's about knowing when to rest, when to recharge, and when to ask for help. It's about taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically so that you have the strength to face the challenges that lie ahead. Building resilience requires a shift in perspective. It's about seeing failure as a temporary setback, not a permanent defeat. It's about understanding that your worth is not defined by your failures, but by your ability to keep going, to learn, and to grow from those experiences. It's about developing the mental toughness to stay focused on your goals, even when everything around you seems uncertain. One of the key factors in building resilience is having a strong sense of purpose. When you know why you are doing something, when you have a clear vision of your goals and the life you want to create, it becomes easier to stay resilient in the face of adversity. Your purpose becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded, even when the storms of life are swirling around you. It gives you the strength to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear. Next, we'll explore some practical strategies for building resilience. We'll look at how you can develop a resilient mindset, how to cope with failure, and how to keep pushing forward when you feel like giving up. But for now, take a moment to reflect on the importance of resilience in your own life. Are there areas where you've been letting setbacks hold you back? How can you shift your mindset to view challenges as opportunities for growth? The answers to these questions will help you begin to build the resilience you need to achieve your long-term goals. Now that we've explored the essence of resilience, let's dive deeper into how you can actively build and strengthen this critical skill in your own life. Developing resilience is not a passive process. It's an ongoing effort that requires conscious decisions, strategies, and practices. The more you practice resilience, the stronger it becomes, and the more capable you become of overcoming any challenges life throws your way. 1. Reframe failure. The first and perhaps most important step in building resilience is to reframe your relationship with failure. Many people view failure as a sign of weakness or as something to be avoided at all costs. However, in reality, failure is an integral part of the growth process. Every successful person has failed at something many times over. But what sets them apart is their ability to view failure not as a dead end, but as a lesson. Again, when you encounter a setback or a failure, instead of thinking of it as a reflection of your abilities or as an indication that you should give up, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Shift the narrative from I failed to I learned. This shift in thinking will make a huge difference in how you respond to challenges. Failure is no longer a judgment of your character. It's simply feedback that helps you adjust your approach, refine your process, and keep moving forward. 2. Embrace discomfort. Resilience is built through discomfort. Growth doesn't happen when we stay inside our comfort zone. It happens when we push ourselves to face the things that scare us, make us uncomfortable, or challenge us. When you find yourself facing a situation that feels difficult or outside of your usual capacity, embrace it instead of avoiding it. I understand that discomfort is where transformation happens. For example, if you're working on building a business and things aren't going as planned, instead of being discouraged or backing off, embrace the discomfort of the challenge. Get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. The ability to stay calm and focused when things are difficult is what will ultimately make you stronger and more resilient. 3. Create small wins. Resilience isn't about facing a huge, overwhelming challenge and pushing through it all at once. It's about building small wins over time that accumulate into something much greater. Rather than focusing on the big, daunting goal, break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Each time you complete one of those steps, you're building resilience. You're proving to yourself that you can do hard things, now one small victory at a time. This approach also helps to reduce the overwhelming feeling that often accompanies big tasks. If you have a massive project ahead of you, don't focus on the mountain you need to climb. Instead, focus on the next step. Celebrate the small wins. Each win fuels your confidence and adds another layer of resilience. 4. Practice self-compassion. Resilience isn't about being tough all the time. In fact, one of the most powerful tools in building resilience is practicing self-compassion. When you make a mistake or face a setback, be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up for being human. Resilient people don't view themselves as perfect. They know that everyone has flaws, and they treat themselves with the same understanding and kindness that they would extend to a friend. And self-compassion helps you move through difficult moments without getting stuck in guilt or self-criticism. It gives you the space to reflect, learn, and then continue without carrying unnecessary emotional baggage. This allows you to bounce back from challenges faster with a clearer mindset. 5. Build a support network. No one succeeds in isolation. While resilience is often seen as an individual quality, building and maintaining strong relationships with others is crucial for developing resilience. When you have a network of supportive, like-minded people around you, you're more likely to persevere through difficulties. These people can offer advice, emotional support, and a fresh perspective when you need it the most. Whether it's friends, family, mentors, or a support group, having people you can turn to during tough times is an essential part of resilience. They help remind you that you're not alone in your struggles, and they provide encouragement and perspective when things get tough. 6. Focus on what you can control. One of the keys to building resilience is learning how to focus on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. Many times, we waste energy worrying about things that are beyond our control, whether it's the actions of others, the economy, or external circumstances. This kind of thinking only drains our mental and emotional energy, making it harder to stay resilient. Instead, focus on the things you can control: your actions, your thoughts, and your responses. By taking ownership of what you can change, you empower yourself to keep moving forward. When faced with a setback, you might ask yourself, what can I do right now that will make a difference? Redirect your energy into solutions and actions, rather than dwelling on things that are out of your hands. 7. Develop mental flexibility. Life is unpredictable, and resilience requires the ability to adapt to change. The more rigid you are in your thinking, the harder it will be to navigate challenges. Resilient people are flexible. They understand that things don't always go according to plan, and they're able to pivot when necessary. When faced with an unexpected obstacle, instead of clinging to your original plan, ask yourself, how can I adjust to this situation? What are the new possibilities available to me? Developing mental flexibility allows you to navigate life's twists and turns with ease, rather than becoming stuck in frustration. These strategies are not quick fixes or shortcuts, but they are powerful tools that, when practiced over time, will strengthen your resilience and equip you to face whatever challenges life throws at you. Building resilience takes time, patience, and consistent effort. It's a process of growth and learning, and as you continue to strengthen this skill, you'll find yourself becoming more capable of achieving long-term success, no matter what obstacles you encounter along the way. In the next chapter, we will dive into the psychology of perseverance and how to maintain motivation and drive, even when things aren't going the way you hoped. We'll explore how to stay focused on the long-term goal and keep your eye on the prize, no matter how many hurdles you face. Chapter 4, The Psychology of Perseverance. Perseverance. It's a word that is often synonymous with grit, determination, and an unwavering commitment to a goal. But when you break it down, perseverance is more than just sticking with it. It's about maintaining your focus, motivation, and energy when everything around you seems to be pushing you to quit. It's about learning how to navigate the moments of doubt, fear, and frustration, and continuing to move forward, even when the results feel out of reach. At its core, perseverance is a psychological quality. It's about the way you think, feel, and respond when things get tough. It's the mental muscle that allows you to push through setbacks, stay on course during difficult times, and refuse to give up on your goals no matter how long it takes. But like any muscle, perseverance must be strengthened and developed over time. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't come without effort. To understand how perseverance works, it's important to first examine the psychology behind it. Why is it so difficult to keep going when things aren't progressing as quickly as we'd like? Why do so many people give up on their goals after facing only a small amount of adversity? The answer lies in the way our brains are wired. Our brains are designed for survival, which means they are wired to prioritize immediate rewards and avoid pain or discomfort. This survival mechanism has worked well for us throughout history. It's what helped our ancestors avoid danger and find food quickly. But in today's world, this instinct to seek instant gratification can work against us. It can cause us to give up on long-term goals when the rewards don't come quickly enough, or when the effort feels too hard. When you're working toward a big goal, whether it's starting a business, getting in shape, or writing a book, the path can often feel long and uncertain. The initial excitement you felt when you set the goal begins to fade, and the work starts to feel overwhelming. Your brain, which is conditioned to seek immediate gratification, starts to question the effort. It tells you that it would be easier to give up and do something that feels more rewarding in the short term. But this is where perseverance comes in. Perseverance is the ability to override that natural urge for instant gratification and continue working toward the long-term goal, even when it doesn't feel good in the moment. It's about training your mind to stay focused on the bigger picture, to remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing, and to keep moving forward even when the path is unclear. A key part of building perseverance is recognizing the difference between temporary discomfort and permanent failure. When you're faced with a setback, it's easy to feel like the whole thing is falling apart, like your goal is out of reach. But that's usually not the case. Most setbacks are temporary. The discomfort you feel is often just a sign that you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, and that's exactly where growth happens. The key is to keep going, even when it feels uncomfortable. It's about embracing that discomfort as a part of the journey, understanding that the work you're doing today will pay off in the future. Every step, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to your goal. Now, perseverance is about trusting that progress is happening, even when you can't see it right away. But how do you stay focused on your goal when the going gets tough? How do you push through the difficult moments when motivation is nowhere to be found? One of the most effective strategies for maintaining perseverance is to break your goal down into smaller, more manageable steps. When a goal feels overwhelming, it's easy to get stuck in the cycle of procrastination. You might avoid the work because it feels too big or too complicated. But when you break it down into smaller tasks, the goal becomes less daunting. You start to see that progress is possible, one small step at a time. For example, if your goal is to write a book, don't focus on the entire book at once. Instead, set a goal to write 500 words each day. That small step is manageable. It's something you can do, even on the days when motivation is lacking. And over time, those small steps will add up. And before you know it, you'll have written the book. The key here is to focus on consistency, not perfection. Perseverance is about showing up every day, doing what you can, and trusting that the cumulative effect of your efforts will lead to the results you want. It's about taking action, even when you don't feel like it. It's the act of showing up day after day, even when the progress feels slow. Another important element of perseverance is maintaining a positive mindset. When setbacks occur, it's easy to fall into negative thinking. You might start questioning your abilities, your choices, or your worth. But this kind of thinking only serves to undermine your perseverance. Instead, now focus on the positives. Remind yourself of how far you've come, the lessons you've learned, and the progress you've made. Celebrate the small victories along the way. Positive self-talk is essential for perseverance. When you feel like giving up, remind yourself that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. Replace thoughts of doubt with thoughts of determination. Instead of saying, I can't do this, say, I will keep going, no matter how hard it gets. The more you practice positive self-talk, the easier it becomes to maintain perseverance during tough times. Next, we'll dive deeper into how to stay motivated when the results seem far away, and how to use perseverance to turn small steps into big achievements. We'll explore practical strategies for maintaining drive and energy over the long haul, even when the journey feels uncertain. Now that we've established the importance of perseverance, it's time to explore how to sustain motivation over the long haul, even when the results seem distant. The journey toward any big goal is rarely linear. There will be days when progress feels slow, when you question whether your effort is worth it, and when it seems like success is far out of reach. This is where perseverance, paired with specific strategies to maintain motivation, becomes crucial. 1. Create meaningful milestones. One of the key challenges in staying motivated is that the end goal can feel too far away, especially when it's something big. Whether you're working toward a career milestone, personal growth, or a health goal, the distance between where you are and where you want to be can be overwhelming. This is why it's essential to break your journey into smaller, meaningful milestones. Instead of focusing on the big, distant outcome, focus on the small victories that lead to it. If your goal is to lose 50 pounds, for example, don't only focus on the end result. Celebrate the milestones, losing the first 5 pounds, fitting into a new outfit, or reaching a workout milestone. These smaller milestones give you something to celebrate along the way, and they help you stay focused on the progress you're making rather than feeling discouraged by how far you have left to go. Milestones also provide a sense of accomplishment that fuels your perseverance. Every time you reach a small goal, you build momentum. You get a sense of achievement that propels you forward, making it easier to continue. And these milestones don't just mark progress. They remind you that your efforts are adding up and that the goal is within reach. 2. Visualize your success. Visualization is a powerful tool for maintaining motivation and reinforcing perseverance. When the road gets tough, it's easy to lose sight of the end goal, to forget why you started in the first place. Visualization helps you reconnect with that deeper purpose. It reminds you of the rewards that will come from your hard work, even when they seem distant. Take a few minutes each day to visualize the person you will become once you achieve your goal. Imagine how it will feel to cross that finish line, to look back at the progress you've made. Picture the benefits, whether it's the sense of pride, the fulfillment, or the opportunities that will open up. The more vividly you can imagine your success, the more real it becomes and the more motivated you'll be to continue working toward it. Visualization can also help to reduce anxiety and stress. When you imagine your success in detail, you remind yourself that it's possible. It becomes a mental blueprint that guides your actions and keeps you focused on the positive outcome, even in times of challenge. 3. Find purpose in the process. Perseverance is not just about holding on to the end result, it's about finding meaning in the process itself. When you understand why you're doing something, the journey becomes more meaningful. You no longer see it as a tedious task to check off the list, but as an integral part of your growth and development. If your goal is to build a business, for example, don't just focus on the financial rewards or the recognition that may come in the future. Instead, find purpose in the work itself. Focus on the impact you're making, the skills you're developing, and the person you're becoming as you navigate challenges and setbacks. When you view the process as valuable, not just the outcome, you create intrinsic motivation that will keep you going when external rewards feel too far away. This mindset shift is powerful because it transforms every step into an opportunity for growth. Instead of waiting for the end result to make you happy, you find satisfaction in the effort and the learning that happens along the way. This not only helps you stay motivated, but it also makes the journey more enjoyable, which is essential for sustaining perseverance over time. 4. Just develop a routine and stick to it. Perseverance is about consistency. The key to staying motivated and focused over the long term is to build a routine around your goal. Routines eliminate the need for constant motivation. When you make your goal part of your daily life, it becomes a non-negotiable habit, not something that you need to be constantly motivated to do. If you're working toward a fitness goal, for instance, create a daily workout schedule. Make it a part of your routine, something you do at the same time every day. The more consistent you are, the easier it becomes to keep going, even when motivation is lacking. When you make something part of your routine, it no longer feels like a choice. It's just what you do. It's a simple but powerful way to build perseverance into your life. Having a routine also helps you stay organized and focused. It reduces decision fatigue because you don't have to think about when or how to take action. You've already decided that you will, and you've scheduled it. A routine helps you maintain momentum, ensuring that you don't lose your way or give up when things get tough. 5. Learn to rest, not quit. Perseverance doesn't mean you have to keep pushing yourself at full speed all the time. In fact, rest is a crucial part of maintaining motivation and resilience. There's a common misconception that success requires non-stop hustle, but this mentality leads to burnout. Instead, true perseverance involves knowing when to take a break, recharge, and come back stronger. Rest isn't about giving up or taking the easy way out. It's about recognizing that your mind and body need recovery to continue performing at their best. Whether it's taking a short break during a work session, scheduling regular days off from your fitness routine, or simply practicing mindfulness to reduce stress, rest allows you to maintain long-term motivation and energy. By learning to rest without guilt, you preserve your mental and physical health, and you ensure that when you return to your work, you're able to give it your best effort. Rest is an essential part of the process, and knowing how to use it strategically can make all the difference in staying on course and maintaining perseverance over time. In the next chapter, we'll explore the connection between self-discipline and perseverance, and how developing a strong sense of self-control can propel you toward achieving your goals with even greater consistency. We'll discuss how to create the kind of disciplined mindset that ensures you don't give up, even when the obstacles seem insurmountable. Chapter 5. The connection between self-discipline and perseverance. Self-discipline. It's a term that gets thrown around in personal development circles often, but what does it really mean? At its core, self-discipline is the ability to control your actions, emotions, and behaviors in the face of temptations and impulses. It's the ability to stay focused on your long-term goals, even when immediate desires and distractions try to pull you off course. In other words, self-discipline is the mental toughness that allows you to stay on track, even when things get difficult or when motivation is nowhere to be found. But here's the interesting part. Self-discipline is intricately linked with perseverance. You see, while perseverance is the quality that helps you keep going when things get tough, self-discipline is the force that keeps you moving forward in the first place. Without discipline, perseverance becomes a struggle. It's like trying to walk a long distance without a map. You may have the will to keep going, but without a clear path or consistent actions, you're likely to get lost along the way. In this chapter, we'll explore the powerful connection between self-discipline and perseverance, and why building discipline is essential for long-term success. We'll also look at practical ways to cultivate self-discipline, so you can maintain the perseverance needed to achieve your goals. 1. Self-discipline as the foundation of perseverance. Imagine you're working toward a goal. Perhaps you've decided to start a business, or to lose weight, or to write a book. At first, you're excited, you're motivated. The vision of success is clear in your mind, and you're ready to dive in head first. But then, as time passes, the excitement starts to fade. The obstacles begin to mount. You might not see results as quickly as you hoped, and the work feels harder than it did at the start. This is where self-discipline comes in. It's the practice of doing what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it. Self-discipline is what gets you to take action when motivation is low, when the goal seems far away, and when life tries to pull you in 100 different directions. Without self-discipline, it's easy to let those early bursts of motivation fizzle out. It's easy to give in to distractions, to procrastinate, or to quit when things get difficult. But when you have self-discipline, you don't wait for motivation to strike. You don't rely on fleeting feelings of excitement or inspiration to drive you. Instead, you focus on the actions you need to take every day, regardless of how you feel. Perseverance requires self-discipline. It's about staying committed to your long-term vision, even when the road gets tough. Without self-discipline, perseverance becomes a constant battle. You'll be forever waiting for motivation to show up. And when it doesn't, you'll find yourself stuck in a cycle of starting and stopping, never making the progress you want. But when you cultivate self-discipline, you remove the reliance on external motivation. Discipline becomes the driving force that keeps you on track, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Self-discipline doesn't require you to feel motivated to take action. It just requires you to do what you've committed to, regardless of how you feel in the moment. 2. Building the habit of self-discipline. The good news is that self-discipline is a skill that can be developed. It's not something you either have or don't have. It's something you can work on, just like any other skill. And just like building any other habit, developing self-discipline requires consistency, patience, and practice. Start by making small commitments to yourself. This could be something as simple as setting a goal to wake up 15 minutes earlier every day, or committing to writing 500 words each morning. The key is to start small, so that the task feels manageable. The more you consistently follow through on small commitments, the stronger your self-discipline becomes. Each time you honor a commitment, no matter how small, you reinforce your self-discipline. You prove to yourself that you are capable of doing what you said you'd do, even when it's not easy. Over time, these small actions compound, and you start to develop a mindset of discipline. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, someone who can be trusted to take action, even when the initial motivation has faded. But remember, it's not about perfection. You will stumble, you will make mistakes, and there will be days when you fall short of your goals. The key is to get back on track quickly and not let one failure derail your entire journey. Self-discipline is about consistency, not perfection. It's about showing up day after day, even when things don't go according to plan. 3. The power of routine. One of the most effective ways to build self-discipline is through routine. When you create a daily routine, you reduce the number of decisions you have to make. You make the actions you need to take automatic. The more routine you make something, the less willpower it takes to do it. This is because your brain is wired to conserve energy, and by establishing a routine, you're making it easier to take action without expending unnecessary mental energy. For example, let's say you want to improve your fitness. Instead of trying to rely on motivation to get you to the gym every day, create a routine. Set a specific time each day when you will work out, whether it's in the morning, during lunch, or after work. Make it part of your daily schedule, just like brushing your teeth or having breakfast. The more consistent you are, the easier it will be to follow through. Your routine doesn't have to be rigid, but it should be consistent. The more you make self-discipline a part of your daily life, the less effort it will take to stay disciplined. The actions you need to take will become second nature, and you won't have to rely on motivation or willpower to push yourself to take action. 4. Rewarding yourself and staying accountable. While self-discipline is about doing what you said you'd do, it's also about finding ways to stay motivated through the process. One of the most effective ways to do this is by rewarding yourself along the way. When you hit a milestone or accomplish a task, take a moment to celebrate. Rewarding yourself helps reinforce positive behavior and gives you something to look forward to as you continue on your journey. It's also essential to stay accountable to yourself. One of the best ways to do this is by tracking your progress. When you see how far you've come, it motivates you to keep going. Keep a journal, create a checklist, or use an app to track your goals. Seeing your progress will remind you of the work you've already put in and motivate you to keep moving forward. Self-discipline is the key that unlocks the door to perseverance. It's the practice of taking action, regardless of how you feel, and the ability to push through when things get tough. Without self-discipline, perseverance would be impossible. But with self-discipline, you develop the consistency and determination needed to reach your long-term goals. Another key component in the relationship between self-discipline and perseverance is willpower. Willpower is the internal strength that enables you to stay the course, even when temptation or distractions are calling your name. However, many people think of willpower as something that's either abundant or lacking, when in reality, it's something that can be strengthened over time with practice. Willpower isn't a trait that you either have or don't have. It's a muscle that can be trained. Much like physical strength, the more you exercise your willpower, the stronger it becomes. It's the ability to resist short-term desires in favor of long-term goals. But just like self-discipline, it doesn't come easily. It takes time, effort, and practice to build and maintain willpower. One of the ways to strengthen willpower is to gradually expose yourself to situations where your self-control is tested. Start with small challenges that require you to exercise your willpower. Maybe it's resisting the urge to check your phone during work hours or sticking to a healthy eating plan. These small, everyday acts of discipline will slowly build your willpower, making it easier to tackle bigger challenges down the road. It's also important to recognize the limitations of willpower. Willpower is like a battery. It's finite. If you push yourself too hard throughout the day, your willpower reserves get depleted, making it harder to stay disciplined. This is why it's essential to reserve your willpower for the most important tasks and set yourself up for success by creating environments and routines that support your goals. For example, if you're trying to resist unhealthy food, don't leave tempting snacks around your home. Set yourself up for success by removing distractions and creating a space where self-discipline can thrive. Willpower alone is often not enough if you're constantly exposed to temptation. Self-discipline involves being proactive about creating an environment that supports your long-term goals and helps you avoid unnecessary temptations. 6. The power of self-reflection. Self-discipline is also about self-awareness. The more aware you are of your habits, behaviors, and patterns, the more you can intentionally choose how to act. One of the most effective ways to build self-discipline and perseverance is through regular self-reflection. Self-reflection allows you to assess your progress, identify areas where you're struggling, and make adjustments as needed. It helps you become more mindful of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. When you reflect on your journey, you can gain insight into what's working and what's not, which empowers you to make more informed decisions moving forward. For example, at the end of each week, take time to reflect on how you've progressed toward your goals. What went well? What could have been better? Did you stick to your routine? Did you get distracted by short-term impulses? Reflection isn't about self-criticism. It's about gaining clarity on your behaviors and adjusting your approach to stay on track. The more you reflect on your actions, the more conscious you become of your choices. Self-reflection increases your ability to stay disciplined because it gives you a clear understanding of why you do the things you do, what motivates you, and where you might need to make changes. It helps you develop a deeper understanding of yourself, which is essential for maintaining perseverance over time. 7. Reinforcing your why. One of the most powerful ways to build and maintain both self-discipline and perseverance is by reconnecting with your why, the underlying reason behind your goal. When the going gets tough, when you're feeling exhausted or overwhelmed, your why becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded. It reminds you of the purpose behind your efforts and helps you push through the hard moments. And it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind, especially when results are slow to materialize. That's when your why becomes even more important. When your motivation fades, your purpose should still be there, holding you steady. It's what pushes you to continue working, even when the immediate rewards are nowhere to be seen. Take a moment to reflect on why you're pursuing your goal. What is driving you? Why does it matter to you? Is it about creating a better life for yourself and your family? Is it about proving to yourself that you're capable of achieving something great? Whatever your reason is, make it a daily practice to remind yourself of your why. This connection to purpose will fuel your discipline and give you the strength to persevere no matter what obstacles arise. 8. Creating momentum through action. Momentum is a powerful force in the process of perseverance. The more you take action, the more momentum you build. Action breeds confidence, and confidence breeds more action. When you consistently take steps toward your goal, even small ones, you create a positive feedback loop that propels you forward. The key to building momentum is to start where you are. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect conditions, or the perfect amount of motivation. You just need to start. Taking that first step, even if it's small, builds the momentum that will carry you through the tougher days. This is where discipline becomes essential. When you commit to showing up every day, to taking action regardless of how you feel, you create a sense of forward motion. Over time, this momentum becomes self-sustaining. The more you push forward, the more natural it becomes to keep going. The connection between self-discipline and perseverance is undeniable. Self-discipline provides the structure, consistency, and action needed to maintain perseverance, even when the results seem far away. With discipline, you learn to make the journey itself part of the reward. Together, self-discipline and perseverance create a foundation for long-term success, enabling you to stay focused, stay committed, and keep moving forward no matter the challenges. Chapter 6. The role of emotional regulation in perseverance. Emotions are powerful. They shape the way we experience the world, influence the decisions we make, and drive our actions, or in some cases, prevent us from taking action at all. When it comes to perseverance, our emotions can either be a helpful ally or a formidable obstacle. The ability to regulate emotions is one of the most important skills you can develop to maintain focus, stay committed to your goals, and keep moving forward, especially when faced with challenges. Emotional regulation is the process of managing your emotional responses to situations, particularly in ways that are productive and aligned with your long-term goals. It's about acknowledging your emotions, but not allowing them to control your actions. It's the ability to remain calm in the face of stress, to stay focused in the face of frustration, and to keep pushing forward even when doubt, fear, or anger arise. The link between emotional regulation and perseverance is clear. If you are easily overwhelmed by emotions, it becomes difficult to stay focused on your goals. Emotions like frustration, discouragement, and self-doubt can easily derail your progress, leading to procrastination, avoidance, and ultimately giving up. On the other hand, those who are able to manage their emotions can maintain a clear mind, make better decisions, and keep taking consistent action, even when things get tough. 1. Recognizing and accepting your emotions. The first step in regulating your emotions is to acknowledge them. So often, we try to push our emotions aside, ignore them, or suppress them because we believe they're a sign of weakness or failure. But emotions are not something to fear. They are a natural part of being human, and they provide us with important information about ourselves and our environment. When you feel frustration or discouragement rising within you, don't try to push it away. Instead, acknowledge it. Recognize what you're feeling and accept it without judgment. It's okay to feel frustrated when things aren't going your way. It's okay to feel uncertain when you don't see the results you were hoping for. What matters is how you respond to those emotions. When you resist or deny your feelings, they only grow stronger and more disruptive. However, when you allow yourself to feel and acknowledge your emotions, you create space for them to pass. You prevent them from controlling your actions and from sabotaging your perseverance. Recognizing and accepting your emotions is the first step toward emotional regulation and maintaining your focus. 2. The power of reframing. Negative emotions. Once you've acknowledged your emotions, the next step is to reframe them. Reframing is a powerful technique that allows you to shift your perspective on a situation and, in turn, change your emotional response to it. Instead of allowing frustration, disappointment, or fear to dictate your actions, you can reframe those emotions in a way that empowers you to keep going. For example, if you're feeling frustrated because progress seems slow, instead of thinking, "This isn't working, I should just quit," you can reframe that thought by saying, "Progress takes time, and every step I take is moving me closer to my goal." Instead of feeling discouraged, you'll feel motivated to keep going, knowing that each small action is part of the larger journey. Reframing negative emotions helps to break the cycle of self-doubt and negative thinking that often arises when things don't go as planned. It allows you to see obstacles as opportunities for growth rather than signs of failure. When you can reframe negative emotions, you take control of how you react to challenges and empower yourself to persevere. 3. Emotional self-reflection and journaling. One of the most effective ways to regulate your emotions is through self-reflection. Journaling is a powerful tool for understanding your emotional responses to different situations and for gaining clarity on how your emotions are influencing your behavior and decision-making. When you encounter a difficult situation, take a few minutes to write about what you're feeling. What emotions are coming up? Why do you think you're feeling this way? Is there a pattern in your emotional responses? Reflecting on your emotions helps you gain insight into your triggers and thought patterns. And it allows you to identify areas where you might need to reframe your thinking or adjust your approach. For example, if you feel overwhelmed by a big task, writing about it in your journal can help you break it down into manageable steps. By reflecting on your emotions, you give yourself the space to process them, understand them, and find solutions that will keep you on track. Emotional self-reflection through journaling also helps you see progress as you track your emotional growth over time and identify moments where you've successfully managed difficult feelings. 4. Mindfulness and staying present. Mindfulness is another effective practice for regulating emotions. It involves staying present in the moment without judgment or distraction. Mindfulness helps you become aware of your emotions as they arise and prevents them from spiraling out of control. When you're working toward a goal and frustration or self-doubt creeps in, mindfulness allows you to pause and take a step back. Instead of reacting impulsively to those emotions, you can simply observe them. You can breathe through the discomfort and choose your response rather than allowing your emotions to dictate your actions. Mindfulness can also help you stay focused on the task at hand, instead of worrying about past mistakes or future failures. When you practice mindfulness, you create a mental space where you can calmly assess the situation and decide how to move forward without being clouded by negative emotions. 5. Developing emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to recover from emotional setbacks and adapt to adversity. Just as physical resilience helps your body recover from physical strain, emotional resilience allows you to bounce back from emotional challenges and keep going, even when faced with setbacks. Developing emotional resilience involves building mental toughness, learning how to manage stress, and practicing emotional regulation techniques consistently. It's about training your mind to stay steady in the face of difficulty, to not give in to negative emotions, and to remain focused on your long-term goals. One way to build emotional resilience is by gradually exposing yourself to challenging situations that require emotional regulation. Start small and practice staying calm and focused in the face of stress. Over time, you'll build emotional strength and the ability to persevere, no matter what life throws your way. In this part of the chapter, we've covered several tools for managing your emotions, including self-reflection, reframing, mindfulness, and building emotional resilience. These techniques will help you navigate the emotional challenges that come with the pursuit of your goals and will enable you to maintain perseverance in the face of difficulty. Next, we'll explore how to maintain motivation and discipline during tough times and how to keep your emotional state in check to stay on course. We'll also look at how to create a mindset that turns challenges into opportunities for growth. 6. Harnessing the power of positive emotions. While it's important to regulate negative emotions, when it's just as essential to harness the power of positive emotions. Positive emotions like joy, gratitude, and excitement can provide the energy and motivation needed to persevere, even during tough times. These emotions act as fuel, propelling you forward and giving you the strength to keep going. One of the most powerful ways to harness positive emotions is through gratitude. When you take time to reflect on what you're grateful for, you shift your focus away from what's going wrong and toward what's going right. This practice can completely transform your mindset. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel better in the moment, it also strengthens your emotional resilience over time, helping you stay positive and focused on your long-term goals. When you feel gratitude, it opens up space for more positive emotions. You start to view challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. You begin to see your setbacks as stepping stones to growth rather than failures. Gratitude shifts your perspective and strengthens your emotional foundation, helping you persevere when the going gets tough. The practice of gratitude also helps you stay motivated. When you can appreciate the small victories along the way, it reinforces your commitment to your long-term goal. Gratitude keeps you grounded in the present moment rather than being overwhelmed by how far you still have to go. It allows you to acknowledge your progress, which in turn fuels your perseverance. 7. The impact of self-belief and self-talk. Another critical aspect of emotional regulation is the way you talk to yourself. Self-talk is the internal dialogue you have with yourself, and it plays a significant role in shaping your emotional state and perseverance. If your self-talk is negative and filled with doubt, it will be difficult to maintain the motivation and discipline needed to stay on track. On the other hand, positive, encouraging self-talk can boost your confidence, increase your resilience, and propel you toward your goals. When you encounter setbacks or challenges, how do you respond to yourself? Do you tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you're failing? Or do you remind yourself that setbacks are a natural part of the process and that you are capable of overcoming them? The way you talk to yourself can either strengthen or undermine your perseverance. Negative self-talk feeds self-doubt and creates emotional barriers, making it harder to keep going. But positive self-talk can fuel your belief in your ability to succeed, even when the path is difficult. It can transform obstacles into challenges that you can rise to meet, rather than insurmountable barriers. The key is to become aware of your self-talk and consciously shift it toward a more positive and empowering direction. When you notice negative thoughts creeping in, replace them with affirmations that align with your goals and values. Instead of thinking, "I'm never going to make it," replace it with, "I'm taking steps toward my goal every day, and each small step brings me closer." Over time, this shift in mindset will build your emotional resilience and strengthen your perseverance. 8. Learning to manage stress effectively. Stress is an inevitable part of life, especially when you're working toward ambitious goals. Whether it's work pressure, financial challenges, or personal setbacks, stress can easily become overwhelming if it's not managed effectively. High levels of stress can drain your energy, cloud your thinking, and derail your perseverance. However, emotional regulation can help you manage stress in ways that prevent it from interfering with your progress. One of the most effective techniques for managing stress is mindfulness. Mindfulness involves staying present in the moment, without judgment, and being fully aware of your thoughts, feelings, and surroundings. When you practice mindfulness, you reduce the impact of stress by not allowing yourself to become consumed by it. Breathing exercises and meditation are other effective tools for managing stress. These techniques help calm your nervous system, lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and restore your emotional balance. By taking a few minutes each day to practice mindfulness or engage in relaxation techniques, you build emotional resilience that allows you to stay focused, even when stress levels are high. Learning how to manage stress also involves setting healthy boundaries and prioritizing self-care. Taking regular breaks, getting enough sleep, eating nourishing foods, and exercising are all ways to support your emotional well-being and reduce stress. When you take care of your body and mind, you create the foundation needed to persevere through challenges without burning out. 9. The role of emotional support from others. While emotional regulation is an individual skill, it's also important to recognize that support from others plays a crucial role in helping you maintain perseverance. Having a support system can provide a buffer against the emotional challenges you face and offer the encouragement you need to keep going when things get tough. Whether it's friends, family, mentors, or colleagues, emotional support from others helps you stay grounded. They can offer advice, share their own experiences, and remind you of your strengths when you start to doubt yourself. Knowing that you are not alone in your struggles can make all the difference in your ability to persevere. Additionally, talking through your challenges with others can help you gain perspective. Sometimes, when we're too close to a problem, it can feel overwhelming and insurmountable. But when we talk about it with someone else, we often realize that the challenge is not as big as it seemed. This external perspective helps you stay emotionally regulated and more capable of handling the obstacles ahead. Creating and nurturing a support system is a vital part of emotional regulation. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who believe in you, and who encourage you to keep going, even when things get tough. Their emotional support can act as a cushion, allowing you to bounce back from setbacks with greater ease and confidence. In this section, we've explored several tools for managing your emotions and strengthening your ability to persevere: gratitude, self-belief, stress management, and emotional support. By developing the ability to regulate your emotions, you empower yourself to stay focused, maintain momentum, and keep moving forward no matter the challenges you face. In the next chapter, we will explore how to cultivate an unshakable mindset of success, one that is rooted in belief, resilience, and unwavering discipline. We'll look at the psychology of success and how to develop a mindset that allows you to thrive regardless of the obstacles you encounter. Part 1. Chapter 7. Cultivating an unshakable mindset of success. Success is not just about what you do, but how you think. The mindset you carry shapes your actions, your decisions, and ultimately, your outcomes. Whether you achieve your goals or fall short often comes down to the way you perceive challenges, opportunities, and your own abilities. A successful person is not simply someone with great talent or luck. They are someone who has cultivated a mindset that consistently pushes them forward, even when faced with obstacles. In this chapter, we'll explore how to cultivate an unshakable mindset of success, one that allows you to stay resilient, confident, and focused regardless of the circumstances. We'll delve into the core psychological principles that underpin a success-oriented mindset and discuss practical strategies to build a mindset that supports your long-term growth. 1. The power of a growth mindset. At the heart of a success-driven mindset is the concept of a growth mindset. A growth mindset, a term coined by psychologist Carol Dweck, is the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and talents can be developed through effort, learning, and perseverance. This is in contrast to a fixed mindset, where people believe their abilities are static and cannot change. The difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset is profound. Those with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities for learning, rather than threats to their ability or self-worth. They understand that setbacks are a natural part of the process, not indications of failure. In contrast, those with a fixed mindset may avoid challenges, give up easily, or become discouraged by criticism, as they perceive their abilities as unchangeable. One of the most important aspects of cultivating a growth mindset is embracing failure as a learning experience. When you fail, instead of seeing it as proof of your incompetence, you see it as valuable feedback. You ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This shift in perspective allows you to grow and adapt, aims rather than stagnate. The growth mindset teaches us that success is not a destination, it's a process. It's about continuous improvement, learning, and effort. And the more you embrace this mindset, the more resilient and adaptable you become. When you approach life with a growth mindset, you're more likely to persevere through difficult times and continue striving toward your goals, even when the path is unclear. 2. Developing self-confidence and belief in your abilities. Self-confidence is a crucial component of a success-oriented mindset. Confidence in yourself and your abilities enables you to take action, make decisions, and keep pushing forward, even when things get tough. It's the internal belief that you can achieve your goals, no matter the obstacles in your way. But confidence isn't something you either have or don't have. It's something that can be built and strengthened over time. One of the most effective ways to build self-confidence is to focus on your past successes. Reflect on the times in your life when you faced challenges and overcome them. By reminding yourself of the times you've succeeded, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of achieving your goals. Confidence also comes from taking consistent action. The more you show up and take action toward your goals, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable. Action creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Even if the action you take doesn't immediately lead to success, simply taking the next step builds your self-assurance and reinforces the belief that you can handle whatever comes your way. Another powerful way to build confidence is by surrounding yourself with positive influences, people who support you, believe in you, and challenge you to be your best. The people you spend the most time with have a significant impact on your mindset. When you're surrounded by individuals who uplift you and encourage you to keep going, it's easier to maintain confidence and stay focused on your goals. 3. Creating a vision for your success. A key element of a success-oriented mindset is having a clear vision of what you want to achieve. Without a vision, it's easy to get lost in the day-to-day struggles and lose sight of the bigger picture. A clear, compelling vision gives you direction, purpose, and motivation, even when things get tough. To create your vision, start by asking yourself, what do I truly want to accomplish in my life? What are my long-term goals? What kind of person do I want to become? Your vision should be something that excites and inspires you. It should be aligned with your values, passions, and aspirations. Once you have a clear vision, break it down into smaller, actionable steps. These steps should serve as the roadmap that guides your actions every day. Having a concrete plan makes the vision feel more attainable and gives you a sense of control over your progress. When you know exactly where you're headed and how to get there, it becomes much easier to stay focused and motivated. Your vision is also what will keep you going when things get difficult. When you encounter setbacks or face challenges, your vision reminds you of why you're doing what you're doing. It provides you with the motivation to push through and stay on course. 4. Overcoming negative thinking and limiting beliefs. One of the biggest barriers to cultivating a success mindset is negative thinking. Our thoughts have the power to shape our reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you'll never succeed, or that the challenges are too great to overcome, then you're limiting your ability to achieve your goals. The first step in overcoming negative thinking is to become aware of it. Pay attention to your thoughts throughout the day. Are they supportive or critical? Do they help you move toward your goals, or do they hold you back? Once you become aware of negative thoughts, you can begin to challenge and reframe them. A simple yet powerful technique is to replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, replace it with, I am capable, and I can figure this out. When you think, this is too hard, I'll never make it, replace it with, this challenge is an opportunity for growth, and I am strong enough to overcome it. Another technique for overcoming negative thinking is to focus on what you can control. Instead of worrying about things that are outside of your control, focus on the actions you can take today that will move you closer to your goals. By shifting your focus from problems to solutions, you take away the power that negative thoughts hold over you. Building an unshakable mindset of success takes time, but it is absolutely achievable. It requires a commitment to embracing a growth mindset, developing self-confidence, creating a compelling vision, and overcoming negative thoughts. Now, when you develop this mindset, you create a foundation that can carry you through any challenge, help you stay focused on your long-term goals, and empower you to achieve the success you desire. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to put your mindset into action by developing the habits and routines that reinforce your success mindset every day. We'll look at how to stay disciplined, motivated, and focused on your goals, no matter what distractions come your way. Part 1, Chapter 8, Putting Your Mindset into Action. A strong, resilient mindset is essential for achieving success, but it's only half of the equation. Without action, even the most powerful mindset will remain unfulfilled potential. The true key to success is not just thinking the right thoughts or having the right attitude, it's taking the consistent, focused actions that align with your goals. In this chapter, we will explore how to turn your powerful mindset into real, tangible results. We'll look at the habits and routines that reinforce your mindset, keep you on track, and drive your actions towards success. This is where the rubber meets the road. Having a mindset of success is important, but it's the disciplined actions you take every day that will create the life you envision. 1. The power of consistent action. Consistency is one of the most important ingredients for success. A lot of people start strong. They make big plans, set ambitious goals, and dive in with enthusiasm. But over time, when the excitement fades, they fall off track. They get distracted, lose focus, or face a setback that throws them off course. The key to overcoming this is consistent action. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, and continuing to take small, deliberate steps toward your goals. These small actions add up over time. They build momentum. And when you stay consistent, even during the tough times, you create a steady flow of progress that compounds into long-term success. Think about the small daily habits that, when practiced consistently, lead to big changes. If your goal is to write a book, you don't need to write 1,000 words every day. Just writing 200 or 300 words each day consistently will eventually result in a completed manuscript. If your goal is to get healthier, committing to a 20-minute workout each day, rather than waiting for a perfect session, will bring about lasting change over time. And the beauty of consistency is that it doesn't require huge bursts of energy or perfect conditions. It simply requires commitment and the willingness to show up day after day. Whether or not you feel motivated doesn't matter. The key is to develop a routine of taking action, regardless of how you feel in the moment. 2. Building habits that align with your goals. Building lasting success starts with building the right habits. Habits are powerful because they automate your behavior. When something becomes a habit, you no longer have to rely on motivation or willpower to get it done. It becomes part of your daily routine. The process of building new habits starts with consistency. To form a habit, you need to repeat the behavior regularly until it becomes automatic. But it also requires clarity. You need to make sure your habits are aligned with your goals and values. If your habits aren't moving you toward your vision, they'll just become distractions, draining your time and energy without producing meaningful results. Start by identifying the key habits that will help you achieve your goals. If you want to improve your health, for example, focus on habits like meal prepping, working out regularly, and getting enough sleep. If you're working toward a career goal, build habits that include continuous learning, networking, and focused work time. Once you identify these habits, focus on making them a regular part of your routine. One of the best ways to build a new habit is by starting small. If you want to start exercising more, don't commit to an hour at the gym every day right away. How you start with 10 to 20 minutes a day and gradually increase as the habit becomes ingrained. The key is to start small, stay consistent, and gradually increase the intensity or duration once the habit feels automatic. The best part about habits is that once they're in place, they require less mental effort. When something becomes a habit, it's no longer a decision you have to make every day. It's just something you do. By building habits that align with your goals, you take the decision-making pressure off yourself and create a system that works for you. 3. Time management. Prioritizing what matters most effective. Time management is crucial for turning your mindset into action. Time is one of our most valuable resources, and how we spend it directly impacts our ability to achieve success. But time management isn't just about creating a packed schedule. It's about prioritizing the actions that will move you toward your goals. The first step in time management is understanding your priorities. Take a moment to reflect on your goals and ask yourself, what actions, if done consistently, will help me achieve this goal? When you know what matters most, you can structure your time around these priorities. This may mean saying no to distractions or postponing non-essential tasks. One powerful strategy for managing your time is the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. This principle states that roughly 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Focus on identifying the 20% of actions that will give you the greatest return on investment and make those a priority. If your goal is to grow your business, or for instance, focus on actions like networking, product development, and customer acquisition, rather than getting caught up in busy work or low priority tasks. Another effective time management technique is time blocking. Set aside specific chunks of time each day for focused work on your most important tasks. Treat these time blocks as non-negotiable appointments with yourself. This creates structure and ensures that you're making progress on your most important goals instead of getting sidetracked by smaller tasks. Lastly, remember that time management isn't about cramming as much as possible into your day. It's about working smarter, not harder. Make sure to schedule time for rest, relaxation, and self-care. A balanced approach to time management will help you stay focused, energized, and motivated over the long term. 4. The importance of accountability. Accountability is another powerful tool for turning your mindset into action. When you have someone or something to hold you accountable, you're more likely to follow through on your commitments. Accountability creates a sense of responsibility and helps you stay on track, even when the motivation is low. There are many ways to build accountability into your life. One of the simplest is to share your goals with someone you trust. This could be a friend, family member, or mentor. When you tell someone about your goals, you create a sense of obligation to follow through. You don't want to let them down, and you don't want to disappoint yourself by falling short. Another option is to join a group or community of people who share similar goals. Whether it's a fitness group, a writing club, or an online mastermind group, being part of a community adds an extra layer of accountability. You're not just working for yourself, you're working for the collective good of the group. And that sense of connection and support makes it easier to stay committed. If you prefer to hold yourself accountable, consider using a tracking system. Write down your goals and track your progress every day. Use an app or a planner to record your actions and see how you're progressing. The act of tracking your progress can be highly motivating, as it helps you see how far you've come and reminds you of the commitment you made to yourself. Part 1. Chapter 9. Handling Setbacks and Failures. With grace, setbacks, and failures. These are the words that often cause the most fear and hesitation in people when pursuing their goals. Yeah, and when we embark on a journey of self-improvement, personal growth, or professional achievement, we envision success, progress, and milestones. But, more often than not, the path to success is not a straight line. It's a series of peaks and valleys, twists and turns. Setbacks and failures are inevitable parts of the process, but how we respond to them is what truly determines our ability to persevere and continue moving forward. In this chapter, we will explore how to handle setbacks and failures with grace. Instead of letting them define us, we'll learn how to use them as powerful stepping stones on our journey. We'll discuss the mindset and strategies that can help you bounce back stronger after a failure, how to keep your focus on your long-term vision, and how to view setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than signs of defeat. 1. Redefining failure. A stepping stone, not a roadblock. One of the first steps in handling setbacks with grace is to change your relationship with failure. Most of us have been conditioned to fear failure, seeing it as something negative, something that represents a lack of capability or an end to our efforts. But in reality, failure is an essential part of success. Every successful person has failed multiple times before achieving their goals. Failure is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply a part of the process. When you redefine failure, you shift your perspective. Instead of seeing failure as a roadblock, view it as a stepping stone, a necessary lesson on the path to success. Each failure provides valuable feedback. It shows you what doesn't work and gives you the opportunity to course correct. Rather than feeling defeated by failure, embrace it as an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve. For instance, imagine you're working toward a big career goal. Maybe you applied for a promotion, but you didn't get it. Initially, it may feel like a failure, but if you choose to see it as an opportunity, you can reflect on the experience. What can you improve for next time? What feedback did you receive? What new skills or perspectives did you gain? By shifting your focus from the negative feelings associated with failure to the valuable lessons it offers, you maintain your momentum and continue moving toward your ultimate goal. 2. Embracing the emotional impact of failure. It's normal to feel disappointed, frustrated, or upset after a setback or failure. These emotions are part of the human experience, and they're natural reactions to challenges. What matters is not suppressing these emotions or pretending that you aren't affected, but learning how to acknowledge them without letting them dictate your actions. When you experience a setback, give yourself permission to feel. Allow yourself to process the emotions without judgment. It's okay to feel upset, but don't let those emotions take control. Instead of wallowing in self-pity or frustration, take a moment to sit with your emotions, acknowledge them, and then let them go. This emotional release is essential for moving past the setback and gaining clarity on your next steps. One of the best ways to process emotions after a failure is through journaling. Write about how you feel, express your disappointment, frustration, or anger. Let the words flow freely. Afterward, shift the focus of your writing to the lessons learned from the experience. What did this setback teach you? What will you do differently next time? Journaling helps you release negative emotions while also giving you the opportunity to gain insights from your failure, which will serve as a valuable guide for future efforts. 3. Reframe and reevaluate your approach. After experiencing a failure, it's important to take a step back and evaluate your approach. Setbacks often indicate that something in your strategy needs to be adjusted. Reevaluate the plan you've been following. Ask yourself, what could I do differently? What could I improve? What parts of the process need more attention? Reframing your approach doesn't mean abandoning your goal. It simply means refining your strategy. Look at the setback as a way to refine and improve. Take what you learned from the failure and apply it to your next attempt. For example, if you were working on a project and it didn't go as planned, ask yourself, did I set clear and realistic goals? Did I manage my time effectively? Was there an area I overlooked or didn't give enough attention to? These questions help you gain clarity and insight into where improvements can be made. Failure gives you a chance to recalibrate your approach, and with each adjustment, you move closer to your ultimate goal. 4. Maintain your long-term vision. When setbacks occur, it's easy to get bogged down by the immediate disappointment. You may feel discouraged or even consider giving up. But the key to persevering through failure is keeping your long-term vision in focus. Your long-term vision is what will carry you through the tough times. When you have a clear vision of where you want to go and why it matters, setbacks become just one part of the journey, not the end of it. Keep reminding yourself of the bigger picture. When you experience failure, revisit your why and reconnect with your purpose. This will help you maintain perspective and stay focused on your long-term goals rather than getting lost in the short-term disappointment. It can also be helpful to visualize the success you're working toward. Imagine the feelings of accomplishment and fulfillment when you reach your goal. This mental exercise reminds you that the current failure is only temporary and that success is still very much within reach. 5. Taking small, deliberate actions. When you're faced with a setback, it can feel overwhelming to think about starting over or moving forward. This is where taking small, deliberate actions comes in. Rather than trying to make big leaps or rush toward the finish line, break your next steps down into manageable tasks. Focus on one action at a time, whether it's revising a project, practicing a new skill, or taking a small step toward your goal. Each deliberate action you take will build momentum. By focusing on the immediate next step, you take the pressure off yourself and make it easier to keep moving forward. Over time, these small steps will accumulate and lead you to the bigger success you're aiming for. 6. Building resilience through each setback. The most successful people are those who have learned how to bounce back from failure. Each setback builds resilience, teaching you how to handle disappointment and come back stronger. The more you experience failure and continue to move forward, the more resilient you become. Resilience is what allows you to weather life's challenges and continue pushing toward your goals, no matter how many times you fall down. Each time you recover from a failure, you build confidence in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. Resilience is the mental toughness that strengthens with practice. It's not about avoiding failure, it's about learning how to keep going after you've encountered it. 7. The importance of patience and time. Patience is often overlooked, but it is a crucial element in navigating setbacks and failures. Our world moves fast, and we're taught to expect quick results, but long-lasting success doesn't happen overnight. Even though it's tempting to see others achieving success seemingly effortlessly, most people's journeys have been filled with long periods of struggle, uncertainty, and setbacks. When you encounter failure, it's vital to remind yourself that time is a key ingredient in success. Just as it takes time to build strength or to grow a tree, it takes time to achieve meaningful progress toward your goals. No matter how difficult the moment may seem, trust that with time and consistent effort, you will see progress. Instead of rushing for instant results, give yourself permission to be patient. Remind yourself that growth is a gradual process and that success will come when you've put in the necessary work. Each failure is a learning experience that leads to a greater understanding of what you need to do to succeed. Patience is an essential part of perseverance. It's what allows you to continue taking small steps forward, even when you can't see the finish line yet. By embracing patience, you give yourself the space to learn, adapt, and improve, which will ultimately make success more sustainable and fulfilling when you achieve it. 8. Reigniting your passion. After failure, passion is what keeps us motivated when the journey gets tough. But when we face repeated setbacks, it's natural for that passion to wane. We may start to question our ability to succeed or feel disconnected from the very reason we started in the first place. The key to reigniting your passion after a setback is to reconnect with your why, the deep purpose behind your goal. Why did you set out on this journey in the first place? What does your goal mean to you? Reconnecting with your core motivations can reignite your enthusiasm and remind you of the bigger picture. It's easy to lose sight of your purpose when you're caught up in the frustration of setbacks. But when you remind yourself of why you're doing this, you renew the fire that will drive you forward. Another way to reignite your passion is by revisiting the progress you've made so far. It's easy to get discouraged when things aren't going as quickly as we want them to, but taking the time to look at how far you've come can provide a much-needed boost. Even small steps forward are worth celebrating, and recognizing these victories will help you stay passionate and motivated. Lastly, don't be afraid to celebrate your resilience. Sometimes, simply acknowledging the fact that you've made it through difficult times and are still standing is enough to fuel your passion again. You are stronger than you think, and each challenge you overcome builds the passion and determination needed to continue. 9. The power of letting go and moving on. Sometimes the most important thing you can do after a setback or failure is to let go. Holding on to disappointment, self-blame, or frustration can keep you stuck in a negative emotional cycle, preventing you from moving forward. The ability to let go doesn't mean giving up. It means accepting the situation for what it is and releasing any negative emotions that are no longer serving you. Letting go allows you to clear your mind and open yourself up to new opportunities. Now, it helps you release any fear or doubt that's holding you back and makes room for fresh ideas and approaches. When you let go of the past, you stop allowing it to dictate your future. Instead, you focus on what's next and what you can control in the present moment. Forgiving yourself is also a powerful part of letting go. Self-forgiveness frees you from the burden of guilt and regret, allowing you to move on with clarity and peace of mind. Every mistake, setback, and failure is an opportunity to learn and grow. When you forgive yourself, you empower yourself to move forward with grace and confidence. The path to success is rarely linear. There will be times when you feel like quitting, when failure seems inevitable, and when the obstacles in your way seem insurmountable. But the key to overcoming these challenges is resilience, the ability to bounce back after a setback, to learn from failure, and to continue moving forward with grace and perseverance. As you continue on your journey, remember that setbacks are not the end. They are simply opportunities to refine your approach, adjust your course, and grow stronger. Each challenge you face is a part of the larger process of success. Embrace it, learn from it, and use it to fuel your progress. Build the mental muscle of resilience by taking consistent action, embracing failure as a stepping stone, and staying focused on your long-term vision. Remember to cultivate patience, stay connected to your passion, and let go of anything that no longer serves you. Most importantly, stay committed to the journey. Success is not about avoiding failure. It's about having the courage and perseverance to keep going, even when things don't go as planned. The more you embrace setbacks as part of your growth, the more unshakable your mindset will become, and the more capable you'll be of achieving your goals. As you move forward, let every setback be a lesson, every failure an opportunity for growth. The road ahead will not always be easy, but if you embrace it with a resilient mindset, nothing will be able to stop you from reaching your destination. And so, as we conclude this journey through perseverance, emotional regulation, self-discipline, and mindset, I leave you with this. Success is not a destination, it's a process. The key is to keep going, to show up every day, to embrace challenges, and to learn from every step of the way. With resilience, see consistency, and a growth mindset, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Remember, the journey may not always be smooth, but each challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger. Keep moving forward with determination, and success will eventually follow. You're capable of achieving everything you set your mind to, as long as you keep pushing forward one step at a time.